This week, I'm going to lead you through a Yin Salutation practice. So it's a Yin practice for the front line of the body, and it's inspired by the Sun Salutation sequence. Let's get started. For this practice, some props might be helpful. I have a smaller cushion and then a bigger bolster here with me today. You could use some blocks as well if you want. I'll lead you through this practice with these soft props only. But you know best what you need your Yin practice. Once you have your mat, your props, everything ready, just bring yourself into an easy seat. If you want to sit on something, you could use a cushion, you could use a bolster, block under the pelvis. We're going to start with some breathing before we go into our first longer pose. So in that easy seat, we're going to open arms out to the sides. And we're going to go into the 4-part Taoist breath. So as you have your arms open, turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Let your shoulders, let your elbows soften. And just check that you can breathe here without tensing your breath. And then with your next inhalation, close your palms, bring the fingers in, and bring elbows close to your sides. As you exhale, open your palms and just gently push your hands away from the chest in front of you. As you inhale, close the hands, draw the arms in close to your sides. Exhale, open palms out to the sides. And again, send your hands, your arms away from the shoulders, out to the sides. That's one round. Then we go again. Inhale, draw the arms in. Exhale, open palms and just gently push hands away from the chest. You might round your upper spine here. Inhale, draw the arms in, closing the hands. Exhale, send your hands and arms out to the sides. Inhale again, draw the arms in. You decide how much or how little force you use. Exhale, open the palms and send your hands and arms in front of you. You can round your upper spine. Inhalation brings the arms in. Exhale out to the sides. We'll do 2 more rounds with the pace of your own breath. So as you inhale, bring your arms in. As you exhale, send arms in front of you. Inhalation, arms come in. Feel the arms moving from your back. Exhaling, arms out to the sides. 1 more round with your own breath. Let the breath guide the movements. Exhalation sends the hands and arms in front of you. Inhaling, arms come in. Exhale 1 more time. Send the arms, the hands out. And then just turn your palms back up towards the ceiling. Soften the elbows. Soften your shoulders. As you exhale, release your hands and arms down. Bring hands onto your lower belly, just below the navel. And take a couple of quiet breaths here, in and out. Just noticing, feeling the movements of your breaths. And then we're going to move into our first longer pose. And that's going to be the dangling pose. So release your hands, release your arms. Bring yourself onto all fours. From all fours, lift yourself onto your feet and then walk your hands and feet close together so you find yourself in a full forward bend. Feet could be hip width apart, they could be wider apart. And then you could
just round your back from here. Start to dangle without any props. Knees could be bent. Or you could take a cushion, a pillow, even a bolster, and place it between your belly and your thighs, adding some extra pressure on the belly at the front of the legs, and then you could dangle down. You could let your hands and arms sink down, just hanging them down. Or you could take hold of your elbows if you want. We are creating an opening for the whole back line, from feet all the way up to the neck, to the scalp. But also adding some pressure on the front line, some gentle compression. Make sure there's no pain, no pinching, no sharp sensations. And at any point, if this dangling pose starts to feel that it's just too much for this moment, for today, you can always change to a child's pose. You'll get this similar compression on the front line with child's pose. Notice your breath. The breath is still there, moving in and moving out. We have another couple of minutes in this forward bend. You might make some changes to your pose. You might come out of the pose earlier. Remember, child's pose is always an option. So listen to your body. Listen to your breath. If you find yourself holding your breath or tensing your breath, that might be a sign that we need to adjust something or let go of the pose and let the breath flow freely. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in and out. Wherever you are in your dangling pose or child's pose. And then either after your 5 to 10 breaths, or when you feel ready to start letting go of this forward bend, we're going to slowly bring hands on the mat. So if you're in child's pose, bring yourself onto all fours. If you're coming down from dangling, just walk your hands further forward so you can lean onto your hands and then bring yourself onto all fours, onto hands and knees. You could gently rock the weight from side to side. You could circle the weight from hands to knees, knees to hands. You can rock from hands to knees, so going forward and back. Just allowing gentle movement. And then, when you feel ready, we're going to move into the dragon pose. So now, we're going to bring the right leg forward first. Leave the left leg as our tail behind us, as our dragon tail. Now you could bring something soft, maybe under that left knee or under the left thigh. So you might lean your left
thigh onto a cushion or a bolster. Another place to use some props would be under your hands, or you might lean down onto your elbows and you could bring a prop under your elbows. Feel free to walk your right foot further out to the side. You can even let your right hip rotate open, especially if you have weight more on your hands or elbows. You can let that right leg find a bit more loose shape and form when you're supporting yourself on your arms. Whether you lean your upper back and head forward or actively open your chest, that's between you and your dragon. We are creating this opening along the front of the left leg, hip, maybe belly and chest area as well, depending on what kind of form, what kind of shape your dragon finds today. And just breathe here. We have another couple of minutes for this dragon. Let yourself find some stillness where you can just observe your breath, observe that flow of breath moving in, moving out. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your dragon. Notice if there's tension that you could let go of. Or notice if you feel that it would be better to come out of the pose a bit earlier. Remember, that's always an option. And then either after your 5 to 10 breaths, or when you feel ready to do so, slowly start to lift yourself a bit higher up, leaning the pelvis back so you can free that right leg and bring both knees on the mat. Now lean into a child's pose for a few breaths so that you can take pressure, you can take weight of your arms, your hands, your shoulders. You could lean your upper body onto a prop, or you can move all props aside. Lean all the way down onto the mat. This is our in-between pose, trying to release the shoulders and arms. You might bring arms next to your sides as well, next to the legs if that feels better. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths here. And then after your 5 to 10 breaths, or when you'd be ready to move on, slowly bring yourself back onto hands and knees. And then we're going to move on to the melting heart pose. So have your knees roughly under your hips. You could use some props here as well. Again, you might have a pillow, you might have a bolster under the chest or under the head. As we walk hands further forward, you could bring elbows on the mat if you want, and then lean chest down towards the mat.
towards the cushion, towards the bolster. So you might bend the elbows, or you could keep your arms extended if that feels good, in your shoulders and your neck. You might bring forehead on the mat. You might bring chin on the mat. You might bring arms or a prop under the head as well. Feel free to play with leaning the pelvis forward or leaning the pelvis back. So you find a place where you feel you can start to release your spine, where you feel you can release your chest, your heart, down towards the mat, without creating too much tension in the shoulders. We are trying to release around the shoulders. We're finding a back bend. And leave space for your breaths. Allowing that whole front line from your throat down to your lower belly to open gently. Melting your heart down towards the mat. And we could spend another 5 to 10 breaths in this melting heart. You might lean into child's pose if you want to come out of this melting heart a bit earlier, or you might lean down onto your belly. Both are good options. So keep listening to your body. And then if after those 5 to 10 breaths you feel you'd be ready to release your melting heart, slowly start to find your way down onto your belly. So any way that feels easy for you to release that melting heart and come lie down on your belly. Bring yourself onto the front. And now we're going to take a moment to rest here. You could bring hands under head. You could also turn one cheek on the mat. It might be nice to release the arms down next to the sides. You might even bring your palms under your thighs, under your pelvis, if that feels good. Just allowing the shoulders to rotate inwards. Notice how the shoulders feel. Notice that space that might be opening up around the shoulders. If you have your head turned one way, you could try turning head the opposite way for another few breaths.
And then slowly, slowly, we're going to bring the hands somewhere under the shoulders. We're going to move into the Sphinx pose. So that's our Yin version of the Cobra pose. Now slowly, as you breathe in, peel your chest off the mat and then slide your elbows, forearms onto the mat. So you're leaning onto your elbows, your forearms. They could be under your shoulders. They could also be a bit wider apart. And you could stay here. Or if you want, you could bring a pillow, a cushion under the chest. If you want, you can also use other props under the head. If you feel like you want to lean your head down and forward, there could be a bolster, there could be a block under the head. So you decide what you want to do with your Sphinx pose. Do you want to take your upper spine into more of an extension, so more of a back bend? Or you might decide you want to round your upper spine, leaning forward. Find the shape that serves your body today best. What do you need today? Trying to soften the very tops of the shoulders so you feel there's freedom in the neck. You might also open legs wider apart. You might even bend your knees. That might intensify the back bend or that opening along the front line. If bending the knees feels good, feel free to do that. Leave some space for your breaths. Still breathing in, breathing out. Spend another 5 to 10 breaths in the Sphinx pose, but you might also choose to come out of the pose earlier. You can always come back down onto the belly, bringing the chest, the head down a bit earlier. What feels right in your body for you today? After your 5 to 10 breaths, or when you feel ready to let go of your Sphinx pose, just slowly, slowly start to bring your chest, your head back down. If you have props there, you can move those props aside. And just take a moment lying down on the front. Again, you might bring hands under the head. You might turn one cheek on the mat. If you feel like moving here, you could gently, gently rock the pelvis from side to side. Send a few breaths towards the lower back, towards the lower belly.
Also breathe into that space between the shoulder blades. Notice how you feel now after that long back bend. Take a couple more breaths here, in and out. And then slowly, after those couple of breaths, we're going to find our way back onto all fours. Open your hands on the mat. Bring yourself onto hands and knees. And we're going to go into our dragon on the other side. So now we're going to bring the left foot forward. And again, if you want some cushions, something soft under the right knee or right thigh, you can bring props there, or you can bring some props under your hands. Or if you want to lean it down onto elbows, you can bring props under the elbows. And find your shape for your dragon on the second side. And that might be very different. It might be sometimes helpful to give some movement for your body in the beginning of the pose. You find a place where you can then settle in, settle down. And again, you have options to lean your head, your neck forward, or you might actively open the chest. That change might also affect how you feel lower down in the spine, in the hips, down in that right leg. And then just breathe here. Allow yourself to release tension with each breath out. Tension that you don't need right now. We have another minute and a half in the second dragon pose. Feel free to make adjustments if needed, or you might choose to come out of the pose earlier. It's always an option. Give yourself a few more breaths. 3 to 5 breaths in and out in your dragon or wherever you are right now. And then slowly, in your own time, and start to lift your pelvis slightly higher up so you can release that left leg. You can bring the left knee next to the right knee. Do a few circles, or just rock the weight from side to side, or rock the weight forward and back, just allowing some gentle movement in the hips. Gentle movement in the shoulders. And then from all fours, bring yourself to lie down on your back.
finding your Shavasana pose. And now you could bring some support under your knees, under your thighs if you want. Or you could bring some extra weight on top of the pelvis. You could bring some extra weight on top of the belly, chest. You might even have a cushion or bolster there that you can hug. Gently onto the front line. So allowing the back line to rest on the mat, on the floor. And now for the first time in our practice, allowing the front line to open up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. And having that extra weight on top of the body might just give that gentle pressure and might help us stay more aware of that front line. Of course, those props are very optional. You might want to release your arms. You might not want to have anything on top of the body. And let yourself find your shape, your Shavasana pose. And then invite your full awareness back to your breath. Noticing the rhythm of your breath. Allowing your mind to rest in observing that rhythm. Observing your breath sliding in, sliding out. And that's all that there is right now in this moment. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your resting pose. Just notice how you feel now. And let yourself observe without any judgment. There's no right or wrong way to feel. At the end of your 5 to 10 breaths, just slowly start to bring some gentle movement to your fingers, your toes. You could give yourself a couple of slightly bigger, deeper breaths in and out. If you've been hugging a bolster, just release the arms, hands down. You could rock your head from side to side. Check in with yourself. Are you ready to let go of your resting pose? If not, you can stay there longer. You can stay as long as you want. If you feel ready to slowly start coming out of that Shavasana pose, first roll down onto one side. It could be the left or the right side, which one feels more natural to you now. You could open your eyes if you've had your eyes closed. And then in your own time, bring yourself up into a seat, into your own final seat. And that could be any easy seat. Maybe it's the same pose you had in the very beginning of the practice. Maybe it's something else. And if it's a part of your practice, you could bring your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for taking some time to slow things down, for checking in with yourself, for listening to yourself. I thank you very much for joining in, for sharing the time and the practice. Namaste. Thank you.